Hello, my name is Valikin for the SEO Community Stream, and today I bring you a video on equipping your low-level characters. Now, if you're new to Star Trek Online, or you just are deciding to make a new character, this information is going to be very valuable to you. Equipping your character in the early levels is pretty important to make your life a lot easier while leveling. It will allow you to kill things a lot quicker. It will also allow you to level without the frustration of dying all the time to ground units. So first off, how do we start? Well, when you first create your character at level 1, you're going to have to play through the missions. You're going to go through the tutorial, and you're going to play through the missions until you acquire your first new ship. The first new ship you get is at level 10, and then level 20, level 30, and so on and so forth, every 10 levels. You need to do your missions until you reach level 10, because the first ship you start with doesn't really have a lot of options. Whereas the second ship you grab, you have a choice if you want to switch out of an escort into a cruiser or a science vessel, and so on. While you're leveling, you're going to grab the weaponry related to your ship and character. Now I'm going to explain those to you, but there are 3 main ships you start off with depending on which class you pick. So if you pick a tactical, you'll get given a escort when you level up. Cruisers, you get a cruiser. Science vessels, you get a science vessel. But you don't have to stick with this. No matter what you pick, you can pick whatever ship you want when it comes to picking your ship at level 10. So if you're a tactical and you decide I want to play a cruiser, then you can buy the cruiser. You have the option of all 3 when you reach level 10, and same with level 20. It does not matter what your captain flies, as long as you enjoy the playstyle. Now, cruisers, if you do pick a cruiser, you're going to want to pick up all the beam arrays and 1 torpedo. So you're going to have your front weapons have beam arrays, and your aft weapon have a beam array, and then 1 weapon in the front is going to be a torpedo. With an escort, you're going to want to pick all the cannons, no matter if they're single cannon, dual cannons, dual heavy cannons, just cannons in general. You're going to pick up the cannons that are selected to you for missions, as well as turrets for the back, which are 360 mini cannons for the aft. You're also going to pick up 1 torpedo to go with these cannons. If you're a science vessel, same as the cruiser, beam arrays and 1 torpedo. The reason for these weapon selections is they make leveling very easy for these very specific ships, and all of the equipment is available to you while leveling from the missions. They are given to you. For example, you could run dual beam banks, dual beam arrays on the escort, for example, if you wanted to. The problem is not many are given to you in the first bunch of levels that you will be going through on the missions. So you can't really run dual beam banks unless you go and buy them off the exchange. While leveling, you're also going to have the opportunity to get bridge officers that you need. Now, each ship has a different layout. Now, as you go up through the ships, through level 20, level 30, you get more bridge officer seatings available to you. You can promote your bridge officers so they can have more station ability slotted. When you first start out with a ship, you only have 1 tactical ability, 1 science and 1 engineering. But then when you get your new ship, depending on which one it is, you get more available to you. So for example, if you have picked a escort, instead of having a ensign tactical, he will now become a lieutenant tactical, and you'll have a ensign science and ensign engineering. And when you then level up to level 20 ship, you might get another tactical slot, so a lieutenant commander, or you might land up with 2 tactical bridge officer seatings, which means you'll have a lieutenant tactical, an ensign tactical, a lieutenant engineering, and an ensign science. It can vary depending on the ship. Cruisers, they focus more on engineering. Science, they focus more on science. So you'll have to judge this as you level up, but I'm going to give you a selection of abilities that you will collect for these ships. While leveling, you also need to make sure that you pick up all equipment that is considered an upgrade. So for example, green is better than whites, blue is better than greens, and obviously very rare is better than, or purple is better than blues. When you get an upgrade, make sure you apply this straight away no matter what the stats. While leveling, stats are not important. For example, if you have, let's say, a postron deflector, and then you get a different type of deflector available to you with different stats, as long as it's an upgrade, like from the mark is increased or it's increased in rarity, slot that and replace the old one and sell the old one. You don't need it anymore, you can sell it. Replicate it, right click, discard, we'll sell it. You have to make sure you do this no matter what. Obviously the marks follow the old Italian symbols, so you got Mark II, which is II, and then Mark III is III, IE buddy. And then Mark IV is IV. So as long as you know these symbols, then you should know what mark is better than the old ones. If you have any spare ground equipment while leveling, make sure to equip these to your bridge officers. Your bridge officers are going to fight with you on ground, and if they do not have the equipment to fight, for example they don't have decent shields or decent armor, they're going to die very quickly and easily, which means you're not going to have the backup needed to complete the missions. So make sure you give any spare ground equipment, no matter how old it is compared to your equipment on your character, give them the upgrades, and then their old ones you can then sell and replicate or pass down to another bridge officer you don't really use or care about. Anything else you collect along the way that you don't need, for example, let's say you're in a cruiser and you're collecting different beam arrays and torpedoes, and the old ones are either out of date, less of an upgrade, or are cannons, for example, then you can sell those and replicate, and make sure you keep all the EC that you collect because you're going to need it. Once you've reached level 10 and you're following on through to level 20, you're going to get given your new ship, and this is where your bridge officer selection is going to come in handy. So for example, for an escort you're going to want to collect 2 tactical officers, then you'll have 1 engineering and 1 science. If you're an engineer, you want to collect 2 engineering bridge officers, 1 science and 1 tactical, and then science, 2 science, 1 engineering, 1 tactical. These are going to be your base bridge officers. You'll get more as you level up to fill your other slots, and different variations on bridge officer seatings on ships, but these are the main core between level 10 and level 30. Once you've now collected a bunch of EC, you're going to want to head to the bridge officer trainer. They are marked on your map as a little red, yellow and blue little symbol, as you can see on the screen now. Head to them and you'll be able to buy bridge officer seatings. These abilities are going to help amplify your damage and weaponry. You want to try and pick these up as soon as possible, so even in your level 1 ship, before you even go out and fly, or after you've flown your first couple of missions, you're going to need the EC first, you can buy yourself a small amplification to your weaponry. So if you're a cruiser, the first things you'll want to buy is your tactical ones. So you'll need, let's say you have a Lieutenant Tactical, you'll need a Tactical Team 1 and a Beamfire at Will 2. This is going to help you survive with the tactical team, and it's also going to amplify your weaponry for AoE, so you can take out the enemy a lot faster. You're also going to need a hazard emitters, 1 for your science, and your engineering team / emergency powered weapons for your engineering slot. You'll also need to pick up a torpedo spread 1 or 2, depending if you have reached your lieutenant attack or not, so you can then amplify your torpedoes as well. If you are a escort with cannons, you're going to need a cannon scatter volley 1 / rapid fire 1 and 2. Rapid fire is a single target, but you can have them at a lower level with less weaponry, and cannon scatter volley is an AoE cannon ability, just like beamfire at will. Alternatives that you need to get as you get more money for later date is reverse shield polarity, engineering team 1 and 2, beamfire at will 1 and 2, emergency powder weapons 1 and 2, shield science team 1, tactical team 1, and hazmaters 1 and 2. The reason is as you level up, your bridge officers are going to increase in skill and go from ensigns to lieutenant commanders, and you're going to need to fill the second lots of slots, and you're going to need the better abilities to go in there. If you have, say, an escort with 2 tactical bridge officers, you're going to need to get 2 copies of each one of the tactical abilities you pick up. So for example, both officers will need a tactical team 1. Both officers are going to need a torpedo spread, and both officers are going to need a amplification to your energy weapons, such as beamfire at will or rapid fire / cannon scatter volley. The reason for this is you're going to want to eventually have uptime. Once you have 2 bridge officers, you can then have 2 of every ability, which means you can have the uptime at 95%. Which means you basically got an amplification to your weapons running all the time and a constant tactical team to distribute your shields. Now that space has been sorted out, we can now move on to our ground equipment. As you level up, you will receive kits and ground gear, but you can also visit the ground equipment officer. From here you can buy kits and also the modules to go with those kits. including some away team ground weapons and armor and shields for your bridge officers if you have some missing, including yourself. It has equipment that scales with level, so as you level, more options will come available to you. Higher marked modules and equipment will become available as you level. Each kit that you can see will have a different module slot labelled on them. Before you buy your kit, you'll have to look at the modules you're going to need and see what modules they are. For example, engineering have fabrication operation module slots. So if you want to slot a operational kit module, you're going to need to find a kit that has the slot available for operation modules. Here's a couple of selections for you to be able to pick up. For tactical, you're going to want to look at rally cry, suppressing fire, and later on Overwatch. These are some really cheap kit modules that you can get. You can also choose to get the photon grenade if you like, but I find that it's compared to the other abilities, it's a bit meh. Science, you're going to want to look at medical tricorder and tachyon harmonic. And for engineering, you're going to want to look at shield recharge and shield generator. You can pick up others kit modules from along missions, ones that aren't available from this officer, or even go and visit on the exchange if you have the EC available to you, and look for modules with your current level. But make sure you look at your kit and see if it can slot these abilities. So mark down what Rally Cry has and what it needs, look up the kit module and buy the one that can slot Rally Cry. Once you now got all of your stuff equipped and you've bought everything you need for both space and ground and organized it all out, you know what you're collecting, make sure to equip all of the abilities to your hotbars and expand your hotbar. You can expand your hotbar by clicking on the bottom right slots on the hotbar. There's a little symbols in the bottom right as seen on screen, and you can change how many hotbars you have available to you. So for example, on ground you can go up to 3 hotbars, and in space you can actually go up to 4. I recommend starting out with just 3 or 2. You're not going to fill all these slots, but as you level and progress, you're going to fill these quite quickly. And that pretty much wraps it up for this video, guys. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and come check me out on stream at www.twitch.tv/ValikinFX. I stream from 5:30 PM GMT time, so that's British time, to 10:30 PM GMT. Please look that up in whatever country you come from to see what it is. So for example, Europe, it'll be 1 hour ahead. If you're in America, unfortunately it's in the middle of the day for you, but you can come check me out anyway. You can also watch my past broadcasts on that Twitch page, and you can see my schedule in the panels on that page too. I'll see you all guys in the next video.